This week on Country Music Junkies, we have a new artist to introduce you to. Her name is Melissa Lynn, and we have her on the phone. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
Well, we're really pleased to have you and really pleased to get the opportunity to introduce you to some new fans and listeners and that sort of thing. So can we kind of start from the beginning? I understand you started writing songs when you were only 8 years old, which is crazy.
Yeah.
How did that all start for you?
Well, for me, it started more as when I was younger, I want to be a singer. It was kind of this huge daydream, and starting out, I didn't know that you could cover other people's songs, that you could sing anyone other songs but your own. So I figured, write your own songs if you want to be a singer, right? If you want to perform. So
right.
I'd sit down at recess and be writing songs, and it just kind of came naturally that way. And then as I got older, when I was 12, I picked up the guitar and started writing songs to the guitar. And when I was 14, I did my first open mic, and it just kind of progressed from there.
Wow, well that's a really cool story. Now, can we think back to when you were 8 years old? What sort of stuff were you writing about? Has any of that kind of transitioned into the music that you are writing now and releasing now?
Well, the first song I wrote, I think I still have it. It was called Party It Up, and it was basically about partying during a study group when I was 8 years old. So I'm hoping that my songwriting has improved since then.
Well, you got to start somewhere. That sounds very cool, though.
Yeah, and it's really cool to still have, just kind of see where I started and see where I am now. It's actually really grounding, like, wow, you can start just sitting at school at recess, and now I'm playing like all these big festivals and Rib Fest, and it's crazy.
Well,
fun.
That is really cool to see the evolution of you as an artist. Now, I want to talk about the sound of your music, obviously country, but can you describe your sound a little bit more in depth?
Sure, yeah. I definitely have a very strong country influence. I do sing country music, but I also have a lot of influence coming from not as much pop, but maybe kind of folk, like the Lumineers or even Ed Sheeran and that pop kind of folksy singer-songwriter stuff. So, I pull influence from everything. Especially when I songwrite, I don't usually sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write a country song, and then start listing down things like pickup trucks and campfires. I just kind of write down how I'm feeling or a story I want to tell, and it just kind of, I pull from those influences.
Well, that's excellent. Let's talk about the two full-length songs that are available from you, For Granted and Play It Cool. Can we talk about those two songs and maybe the stories behind them?
For sure. So I'm releasing a 3-song EP, and 2 of the 3 songs that are on the EP are, like you said, Play It Cool and For Granted, both which I wrote with my producer, Douglas Romano, who was amazing. The first song we wrote was For Granted, and I came in to Noble Street Studios, and we sat down in his office, and we spent a lot of time on this song trying to just make something really, really good, to start off the EP on a really good foot. And you know what? This song is actually one of my favorites off the EP, and I couldn't be happier with it. Came out beautifully in the studio. It's just a really beautiful song. It's basically, the story talks about how we don't want to take love for granted, and it's telling a story about of regret, about how she took her love for granted. Now he's gone away, and she's regretting everything, and it's a really pretty song.
Well, that is excellent, and I have heard it, and it is absolutely beautiful, so fans, be sure to check that out. Let's talk about the other single, Play It Cool. What's the story behind that one?
Play It Cool is my anthem, in a way. I wrote it from a really honest place about, it's a story about how I'd want my first meeting with a guy to go. I'd want to play it really, really cool and be that really, really smooth girl who's picking up all the guys, but that's really not the case. I'm usually like super awkward and don't know what to say, so I kind of wrote it about how I want things to go. So it's funny in that way. There's a lot of kind of light and fun lines in it, and it's a super upbeat song, and I like to dance to it, and I love playing it live, so it's definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorites, off the EP.
Well, you mentioned that this is your debut EP, and you have 3 songs that are going to be released on it. Can we talk about the third song?
Yeah, the third song, I wrote all on my own, actually. I wrote 2 with my producer, and 1 on my own, and it's called One Time Thing, and it's also another kind of upbeat song, but it's more easygoing, and you can just sit back and kind of nod your head to it, and it's, the storyline behind that is basically, hey, it's my night to have fun, so she goes and she flirts with this really hot, awesome guy, and yeah, it's just one of those really easy, fun songs.
Excellent. Well, that is very cool. Now, I know that you're still working on the EP, and it will not be released just yet, but do we have kind of a rough estimated timeline for when that'll be released?
Yeah, it'll be released within the next month or so, for sure. Like, this fall, it should be out. I am selling it. If you come to my shows, I have it available, so it's kind of exclusively available at the side of the stage during shows. For some people pre-ordered it. I'm putting those out right now, so yeah, there are definitely ways you can get it if you come and see me live.
Excellent. And if fans want to check you out online and find out where you're playing and connect with you, how can they do that?
I definitely use Facebook as my main source to get information out, let people know what's happening. You can check me out on Facebook at facebook.com/MelissaLynnMusic. My website is now up. I'm super proud of it. I designed it all by myself, and it's now
excellent.
up. And it's MelissaLynnMusic.com. And I also have Twitter, Melissa Lynn. And yeah, I have a whole bunch of platforms. Everything's connected to my website. So.
Well, there you go. Fans, head over to MelissaLynnMusic.com and check her out. Melissa, thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Thank you for having me.